Thank you.
So, welcome everyone to the walkthrough for Indianapolis. So, we'll do the same thing as usual. I'll do the onboard lap, then I'll do the another full lap from the outside, so give you a better chance to see the line. After that, we'll go corner by corner, and at that time, if you have any question while we're going corner by corner, uh, you could ask your question at any point. This lap was done on a lap mode, and it was 20 degree. And let's go. And the lap was 134.9. So let's jump on the full lap on the onboard. So as we're going on, take a look at steering input, throttle and gas. Gonna do the same lap again, but from the outside. Now take a close look at the line. All right, we'll start to go corner by corner. So for Indy, as you will see, compared to other track that we did, like we went from last week, um, that we do Alton, it's pretty flat. All the corners set. Like last one, we get some on the Indy track, but the rest, the infield, it's really flat. So that's one of the reason like we think there's less grip, but we don't have like any camber to help us to get more speed to the corner. So a couple key things that you'll need to be careful on Indy you'll need to be really careful on throttle input. So you need to be really gentle in some area with the throttle input. Um, Another key thing, it's turn 7, so before the back straight, turn 11, where it's not a straight, but we are flat, like turning to a part of the other layout of Indianapolis. And last corner is 14, so we want to get a good run there to get the long straight, because pretty far until turn 1 where we're gonna brake. So those will be the key plays that you need to go. So we'll start at turn 1 from side. So keep in mind that what I'm going to tell you for braking are just reference, so it might be different from your car, or if you're using a different camera or field of view, everything that is not exactly the same as me or exactly the same car, same setup, will change your reference. So just to give you an idea where to start to work to get, and then for your car you need to try a bit later or a bit sooner. It will depend on the car and stuff like that, so just keep that in mind. So coming to turn 1, what I'm using is the 400-meter boards that we see just on the left here. We'll go slowly. See, I'm starting to brake, already starting to brake here. So as it get close to me, that's what I'm using. So 500 will be too soon, so somewhere between the 5 and the 400, you should be good to do it. So we have a really big braking zone here, so keep the car straight as long as possible before turn 1, because almost it's a 90-degree angle turn, so really a big braking. We are CM 269, and I'm just starting to get on the brake rod at that moment. Let's just go slowly. It's gonna brake, straight line, don't shift. You will see here that I'm going all the way down to first, and then I shift back up for the corner. That's just car specific. It's not, you don't need that. Some car will need to be stay in first, some car prefer the second one. That's just something for you that you could also try. By just starting to use that more and more in the McLaren, so I could use a little bit more of braking engine just to try to shorter the braking distance a bit. But I'll do a couple corner here during the lap. So when you get to turn 1, what's really important is to get close to this curve, but don't hit the curve. It is pretty aggressive curve if you go over it. So just one big bump. So let's see here, I want to go really slow as possible without mounting on it. Still have a bit of speed. Maybe I was carrying it a little bit more speed, but that's the idea here. Let's look from the side. And you want to keep it close to the curve and keep it like middle of the track, because next corner, turn 2, is really close to us. So you want to try to compromise your first one to get a better exit of turn 2, because turn 3 will be flat and you will only be braking next for turn 4. So that's where you're gonna gain most time, is when you are on throttle. So as soon as you could be on throttle for turn 2, that's where you're gonna gain time. So that's why we sacrifice the exit of turn 1 without going all the way up to the white line on the left. So we want to stay like middle at max. I was a little bit more here, carry maybe a bit too much speed, and then you want to try, you will not have the time to go all the way back to the white line on the right. So you like, if I continue here, like middle, I'm already starting to turn, and I'm go use all the curve that I could here. If I go back just a bit, you see using everything that we could use here. And at this point, when you get by the end of the curve here, see I'm already on the throttle, full throttle, and there's still, if you look in front of me, a fair bit of turn to do for turn 3 is coming in front of us, but what we're going to do is, I want to see, like here, I just want to use it straight, so I'm going to use the curve, go over the curve to make this part of the track as straight as possible. So continue turning the car here, but using the curve. And then you will get to turn 4. Turn 4, we'll do this one, and we'll recap the first 4 corner. Turn 4 is a really tricky corner, as you could see here. I'm still turning on the right, and I will be on the brake like really soon. When I get like close to the curve that you see on the left, I'm gonna start braking, but we'll still have the steering turn, so you will have to brake while turning a bit here, which could be a bit tricky. And what I want to do, I'm gonna turn but slightly and keep the car drifting to close to the curve on the left. So let's go slowly and you'll see what I mean. See, I'm all the way. I'm gonna just go back a tiny bit. So I'm gonna start to brake like here. See, I'm still turning the wheel. They are never straight. That could be tricky if you touch on the exit, the entry. You want to open the corner as much as possible, so you want to use the curve that is here. But if you just drift a little bit too much and you touch the grass or gravel that's just after the curve while turning, but then you just have a good chance to spin and lose the car here. So it's really a tricky corner to do it here. And just to finish this one, you can see here, just a little bit further in here, I'll already starting when I get to the apex line. Here, getting back on throttle to finish the turn 4 and use all the track that I could use. So you could go on the curve here. It's fine to use the curve. See, I'm just touching it, so that is fine. So it's a little bit like those 4 corners get really a quick section of corner. But we could take a look quickly. Full speed again from the outside. I want to go close to the curb. Back on throttle and you stay full throttle after this one. Turn 2. Turn 3 is flat. And just the tricky corner.
Hey, Michael.
Yep.
When you're following cars through 4, because it comes up so quickly when you change again from left to right, do you have to give up a little bit of speed in 3 or like lift a little in 3 just so that you're not like rushing into the brake zone to the car ahead of you? Like, do you have to make any adjustments?
Well, it probably depends who you could probably lift a bit on 3 just to be safe, because yeah, like I said, brakings get really quickly after 3. So yeah, or you need to lift before for not like before the braking, you do a little bit coasting. Depend the run that the car in front will have at exit of 2, I guess. Best thing to do is to try again hours of practice. There any question before I continue turn 1, 2, 3 and 4?
What is the brake marker on 4 again?
The curve that you have on the left. There, I don't know how good you see it in the stream. So I'm getting just when I get to it, I'm a little bit past it. If you look from the outside, it's where it's around where we start, but when you're from the inside, you just pass
Oh,
pass the
okay.
curve on the left.
Got it.
Alright, so turn 4, get to the apex, then you get full throttle all around here, and then turn 5, it's still, it will be flat. You're only gonna brake to turn 6 or from here. So go use all the track, keep it flat to turn 5, and you try to not go as left. You don't need to go far left, but this way you're gonna compromise 6 a bit. So you're gonna stay like middle of the track to start turn 6. Turn 6 is a really long left-hander. Um, it's fine we are doing it like that because 7 is really quick after that. So there's, if you sacrifice the entry of 6, it's fine since it's a long left and the 7 is right after that on the right. There's nothing to gain to get like all the way up to the right and trying to cut it. There's like no grip on the outside of 6. There's marbles there, rubber marbles, and they're just no grip. So like here, see, I'm not even close to the curve. I still have space, and there's still like a car. So I don't want to exit too wide. So I just want to, I'll be keeping in the middle for 6 here. See, I'm trying to go a bit right, but not much. But for your braking reference here, there's not much that you could have. So I'm starting to brake around here, but the road in front of us is pretty far. The road on the right is pretty far, and there's no marker around it. So this is just doing it by feel corner for the braking. There's like nothing at all here. You could try. The only thing that I see is the road, and you have the curb, but they're so far in front that's really hard to judge by that. So this is one of the corners that you just need to practice and practice to be able to brake and be able to do it by feel. So middle of the road. See, as you can see, I'm already starting to turn a bit of car. Then you want to do like a U shape. As you can see here, I went a bit too wide. That's, I will prefer to stay maybe like, instead of my left wheel here, I would like to have my right wheels around here. So car will be like on the black mark here. And if you look from the top view, you could really see the U shape. The black line is pretty much what you do. So you hit your first apex around here, let the car drift a bit, then you cut back to your second apex here. And we'll go back after that. But 6 is where you're gonna need to be really gentle on the throttle. It's really hard to put the 100% throttle here. As you can see, I'm off throttle here. We'll go slowly. I'm gonna get back on throttle really soon after this. So I'm back. I'll go like to 80. And still not 100. See, I can still, but I could be 100 maybe for a split second, like here. And then I want to keep it tight. I want to keep on the left because 6 we compromise it, the exit 2, because 7 we have the straight after that, and that's where we are going to gain time. So I want to keep it as tight as possible on the left, as you can see here, and then aim into turn 7, use the curve, and when you get the apex like here, get back on full throttle and use all the track. Like the track is until the grass, like the first white line here, that's not the track limit. Track limit is here, the other line on the left. So you could go all the way up to the grass. As you can see here, I touch it a bit. That's a little bit too much, but a couple mistake on the laps. But use all the track. I've seen some driving house of practice, I always only go to the white line, but this is fine to use. This is part of the track here. So let's look back six because six is really, I think it's really important because it's easy to drift wide there and just lose a bunch of time. And if you're not patient for a throttle, right, it's you cannot. If you see, I'll go full speed and watch the throttle. You see, I'll only be able to go in full throttle between little straight that's between 6 and 7. It will be for a really short time because we'll get back on the brake for 7. Same thing for the exit of 7s. It's not like 100% on throttle like really quickly because you're just gonna lose the rear of the car. It maybe less grip than the other track, but also that it's completely flat. So you need to be gentle on throttle a lot of plays during the lap here.
Hey, Michael.
Yep.
So you take six like a double apex instead? So like maybe turn 12 at Alton Park? Just kind of get the car slowed down in the first bit so that you're not sliding in the middle?
It was 12 on Ulta. Set.
It's the in
Let me
sector
check.
3, it's that sweeper right-hander that you've got, that double apex before the little mini short skirt. So right after that shell sign.
I'm just looking at the map. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the chicane, that's the end
Yeah,
of
yeah,
sector
yeah,
2.
yeah. And it's sector 2 after the second chicane. You know how you can't get on the power there too early because if you do, it washes you wide, and that's why everyone dumps the car out there.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if this turn is kind of the same,
So
where you have to get the car slowed down a little early.
for 6.
Yeah. Like I couldn't figure out a way to like single apex that corner ever.
No,
Because
6 no.
yeah, every time I tried, like I either was too slow because I was rotating out in the middle of nowhere and then just like sitting there for no reason, or I was in the middle of those two turns and then it was like not apexing really. You were kind of like a middle apex, so then you had to turn again to get through the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to do it on single AP because you're already on the entry. You only like have the track. You're not
Yeah, yeah,
fully on the right, so
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't
That's true.
have the. You don't want to go here and try because everybody will dive on the inside, and then if you're on the outside here, you're gone. You have nothing, no grips.
Mhm,
So that's probably why it's just better to do like double apex, like here and then here.
mhm, mhm.
Just because the second one too, you want to prepare for 7. You want to keep it really tight here. So if you do like a double apex, so you have a small straight here to prepare for 7. For here the same. I don't really have. You could check. Wait, I'm starting to break here. It's not that sign, but I don't like the sign. I mean, you could use it to start it when you start practicing it, but it's not guaranteed it will stay there. So it's always important to find something else, and there's not much else. There's no like marker like we have in turn one. So it's right after the curve, maybe. The curve is there, but I don't like. Yeah, right at the end. That could do it. That could do it, but it's something that you don't really see if you pass it. Like it's right at the edge here, so it's one of those. But you have a couple things to at least start use. You have the board. You have the curve on the level. I'm just doing it by feel at this point. So check throttle here. See, I'm going like 80%, and then I'm just let the rear settle, and then back full throttle, just to give extra like time to the car to take its place and try to not slag the rear because this drag eats tire. If you're starting to slip every corner here, you're gonna destroy your tire really quickly. So for Indy, you need to be really gentle on the throttle and your steering input. It will just save your tires since 1.9 tire degradation. It's more pronounced from your input. So if you're like steering left and right like really hard on throttle, make it a car slide, you're gonna destroy tire a lot quicker than a driver that's just more gentle on every input. So this is a good track for practicing to be precise with your steering, throttle input, and brake. Don't want to lock the brake too. Okay. Any other question on the first section of the track? Right. Let's go to turn 8. Turn 8, we have a good marker. It's not like previous two corner. So come here. We have the road, like the access road that we have here. We have the board that's aligned with the 200 meters. So what I'm using is the 200-meter board right there. So I did go to the right. That's my reference for here. So as you can see, I did it on this lap. I'm trying to not do it yet. I try to not brake on the curb here because I want to stay on the brake line. So if I start here, I will stay on it. But when you get to the end here, you're still under the brake and you still not have start to turn. So you're gonna hit the grass here and it will give you a bump. And I did it on this lap too. So it's gonna bump the car just a bit and just annoy you. So as you can see, when I'm gonna get here, you're gonna see, oh, see the car dips a bit. So you just, that's probably going to trigger a little bit more ABS, just get the brake a little less perform. So try to be on the line, but not on the curve for this one, just because of the way it is. So brake. And this is like turn 1. So you want to go close to it. To the curve is the same type of curve. It's a big, oh, it's a big bump. So you don't want to cut on it because, but you want to get close. Yeah, one a little bit on it. You will see the car bumps a bit, but not much here. That will be the max that I will take on that curve. I usually don't want to touch it. So again, after 8, so you'll get 9, 10, 11 that are coming really quickly. So since they're coming quick, we want to sacrifice again because they are so quickly one to the other. So as you can see, 8, I'm gonna start here. That's a little bit far. Well, I'm trying to bring it back as much as possible to the left, like middle of the track will be probably the max. You could try to prepare for 9, so it will be pretty much middle until you get to the end of 11. So you can watch it here. We'll watch it as 1 until 11, the entry of 11, so 9, 10. So you want to go as much as possible on curve, right to the dirt, yeah, middle. And this one you want to stay on the left. Stay on the left here. One, because exit of 11 is probably one of the, that is probably 14. This corner, if you do it right, you're gonna gain a bunch of time here. You have so much time between 11 and 13 that I'm still finding time here. It's really crazy, and the trick is to cut this curve as much as possible. Track limit are the curve. So if your left tire touch on the white and blue curve, this corner is legal. You can see here, I could even cut it more than that. There are still like a tire more, but by doing this, you're gonna open the corner a lot more and be able to be on throttle a lot sooner, which gonna gain a lot of time here. Let's watch it slowly. So I'm keeping on the left, and I want to start to turn, and I want to cut as much as possible, but just be careful during a race because this is a place that could easily cut a bit too much and of course get a track cut and then drive-through, so you need to be careful. But for quality, you'll need to practice to try to cut as much as possible. On the race, just back up everything a bit, should be fine. So as you can see here, we'll go slow a bit again. I'm cutting it as much as possible, and see, I'm already starting to be on throttle here. And when I'm gonna start to be here, I'm gonna be at full throttle just a couple meters further. I will stay full throttle until 13. Let's go full throttle. I did again the like 80% 100 just to settle the rear. And you want to use all the track, the curb that's there, you could go on it. Just try to not go too much, because if you touch grass, gravel over there, it's going to slow, make you lose a bunch of time just because we are flat until 13. So let's watch it again, and you'll see we'll check the brake input during that section. I'm gonna go here. I think it's the tap of the brake. Say a little tiny tap of the brake here. Did I do it here? Just a lift. Only a lift here. Sometimes if I get too quick, I will do like the same tap that I just did on turn 9. It's possible that on the lap I will do it, so I'm just adjusting. But if you do it right, you could just do a lift for 10, and for 11, that's gonna get another tap. It's not even full brake. So just before, I don't think I've really a good reference here. Yeah, it's not much again here, but it's just a tap, so there's nothing. It's another one of those corners like those complaints. As you can see, I'm slightly touch of the brake, so watch it one more time, full speed, and watch the brake. So big brake for here, and I'm gonna touch the brake, little tap, just a lift, 8, 10, and slight touch of the brake for 11. Is there any question for 8, 9, 10, and 11?
Can you do the entry of 8 from the top?
Yeah, sure. From the outside?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You want it to slow it down a bit?
Yeah, maybe a little. Oh, okay. So a lot of people are like running the exits too much, so then they're having to yank the car back the other way. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I always struggle getting to the through the chicane properly, and I think it's because when I get to 8, I'm focused so much on getting the curbing that I don't think about the exit, and so I think I let the car wash too wide to the right, so that when I need to go back over again, I'm basically yawing the car the other way, and so it's always like it feels out of balance the whole time.
mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
And 9 and 10 use all those curves. You could go all the way up to the gravel. Use it. In the wet, maybe not, but in dry, use those curves as much as possible. Like I did here. Go right to the edge. Alright. Let's continue to turn 13. So we're going flat to turn 12. Then we prepare for turn 13. When you exit 12, you want to go as close as possible as the wall. And what I'm using here for my reference is I think it's 500, yep, 300. That's just in front of me. So I'm gonna get here. See, I'm starting to brake here a little bit before, a couple of car length before the 300 mark that's there. We're braking on a straight line, And again, like turn 1 and turn 8, this curve is this same thing. Don't want to go on it. You want to go as close as possible. Same type, big bump. Don't want to touch it, so you want to go as close as possible. And for this one, even though 13 and 14 are really close, you could use uh, a lot of the track here. You still have time to go place yourself for 14. So as you could see here, brake, turn the car, I'll go wide, almost really close to the curb. See, using a lot of track, but we have plenty of time to prepare for 14 for this one. I go close to the wall, but don't touch it. And close to the curve again here. Then I release the brake here to get the grip back on the front tire. Back on throttle. And then we're going to go on the right for the final corner that we are going to brake. So you try to go as far as you could go. Don't need to go to the white line. You just want to stay safe. No, you don't want to take chance here. So let's go back, and I think this is another corner that there's not much for you for braking reference around here. Nice. Everything looked the same. There's no marker again. So we have a couple of corners on this track that's just, I feel, it's like halfway between those two corners, 13 and 14. So yeah, unfortunate that we have so much on one track, but it happened. So this corner exit is really important since we have so long on full throttle between there and turn 1 that is really important. It will be one place. Turn 1 will be a good place for trying a pass. If you get a run, you get the aspiration, you get a long straight, and we have a big braking zone, so really a good place to do it. So here, try to focus on your exit. So braking here, I'm gonna go slowly. I'm gonna start to turn the car. I want to go on the curb, but don't go over it because it's gonna just get a bigger bump and will push you a little bit further on the right because you want to prepare for 15. Even though we're not braking for 15, it's still really important to have a good line there because if your line's not right, you're probably gonna try to steer more, and by steering more, you're just gonna screw up the front tire and just get less speed on turn 15 just because your line, you might think it was fine, you could still do the turn like correctly, but just because you turn the wheel way more, you're gonna reduce your top speed, and that will just be a bad exit of 15 without, it will not be as noticeable in like other turn because you could still make it the turn. You feel like you're doing properly, but in reality it's wrong just because you're turning too much, just killing all your speed by that. So get on the curb, and then we're going to start to apply power full throttle. You don't want to go all the way up to the right because like I said, you want to prepare for 15, but from this point we're full throttle until turn 1. So keep it like a little bit more on the right. That middle of the track is more like where my left tire are. So you just pass that, then you go back on the left, like middle of the track. So the black line here is pretty good for the line for this corner, like here. Then you're gonna start to go to turn the car and go close to the curb. Close. Don't need to go on it. Stay close, and then you just let the car go. See, we'll go back from the inside. The step makes the ringing. Stay just keeping like that. It will just naturally go. Then unwind the wheels. If you exit the corner here and you're past that triangle white line on the left, if your left wheel are over there somewhere, that's probably because you're doing turn 15 wrong. And then, but if you're here, you're probably scrubbing some speed because you're steering too much. You should exit before that triangle shape just in front of me. And get back on the straight, ready to start another lap. It's there. Any question on any part of the track?
Could I see 4, 5, and 6 again?
Sure.
If there's any place I struggle, it's there. It's probably because I'm braking too late. Yeah, okay. Okay, that really helps. Yeah, I think I just am I'm trying to carry too much into 4, and then everything is off
Yeah.
because you can't really like slow down to reset, so that whole sequence just feels terrible.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Possible.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that helps.
So one more thing. So as you can see here, the track will tour us in the day, but we're going to race at night. So make sure to practice at night. If you don't know the track at all, start by learning it during the day if you want to follow the walkthrough. Practice it during the day. Once you know it, go practice in the dark in the server because even though I was doing this, but when I jump on the server, then it took me a couple of laps to figure out my braking back just because it was dark and you just feel like it's different thing. So you just need to adapt to the darkness and just try it before the race at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and another thing is on this track you don't want to have drive-through because this pit lane is long. It costs like I
Mm-hmm.
think it's more than a lap. I think if you have a drive-through, just a drive-through, like someone had the time to do a full lap before you get out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
terrible, man.
With the
I
pit, I
have
yeah,
think with the pit stop, with the 30-second pit stop, with it's like a lap and a half, I think, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, the last race we did here, dude, I saw so many people just get needless drive-throughs, and they were a lap or 2 laps down by the time the race was over,
Oh yeah,
because they're just sitting there for forever.
it's crazy long. So you definitely don't want to drive through. You don't want to speed in because it's really easy to speed on the entry here.
Yeah.
So to get to the pit lane, so it will be on the outside of 14, which is not the last corner. 15 is the last one. So you have three braking to do to enter the pit. So you have your first one. You're gonna brake as I think pretty much the same thing. You're gonna brake for 14 anyway, and then you just let the car go. So you're gonna enter here. From here, you'll be full throttle, and you need to brake for this turn. So you need to brake here, and then you back full throttle. We're still not at the pit entry, so we're still full throttle, and somewhere here where see you have the concrete wall and then the orange, somewhere between the middle and the start here, you're going to brake again for now. We're going to brake for the pit entry here. So it's a really important pit to practice just because it's easy. If you brake like here, yes, no way you slow down to 50 here.
Right.
It's really quick. It's like somewhere on the beginning of here. So try
And
it.
don't just go through it at like no miles an hour either, because one, you either will get run over, or two, it's technically part of the racing surface. So like I've passed cars here that
Yeah,
are going like no miles an hour, and I just stayed to the right and just just
yeah.
blasted by them.
There's space here compared to say exit of Laguna. There's like no space for two car. But if someone is slow here, go pull on the side and go. It's
Oh yeah.
still legal to do. And yeah, practice this one because, like I said, it's easy to get speeding
The
here real easy, and then you
The
have
other
to.
easy the other easy tip here for the pit lane is that when you if you stop the car manually and keep it in first, when the car goes back down, it stays in first. So all you have to do is keep your hand off the shifter and not do anything as you exit the pit lane, and you'll be fine. The reason people get themselves screwed up is that the car hits the ground and they immediately like shift up, and then they turn the limiter off and they kill themselves. And that pit lane going down it is so long.
Yeah.
So the
So
exit isn't for a while till the other side.
yeah, if you stop like car, you'll be stopping somewhere. Maybe here. Let's see, my pit stop is here. It's like I think we'll be like halfway. It's on the start finish line, so it's almost just halfway through the pit, the straight. So I still have to go still.
I think it might be the longest of all the NASCAR tracks.
Well, I mean, it's the Indy Speedway.
Yeah.
So, part of the main straight is part of the Indy Speedway, right? This the what coming down here. It's 3 and 4 or 4 and 1. I mean, so it's fucking long. I mean, you're not even going the whole speedway length down, right?
Mm.
It's really really long.
Yeah. So you have those light on the left, and the line is the first one of those two. So if the board is not there, the first one is where you could get back, remove the pit limiter, and here from here it's full throttle coming. And when I get through around here, when I see like this part on my right, that's my American reference for my pit exit, like somewhere here. And pit exit, you need to be careful if there's car coming. So see, this is your line, and you need to exit between after this. After this part, you could get back on the track, but you need to exit on the right of the white line that's there. So I usually
This
exit like here, and then you could take turn two. You just need to be careful if there's other car fighting with you on the car. They will be on the inside for turn two, so it's a tricky one. You just need to be careful on the exit.
drive through pit lane speeding here is like game over. Pretty much. It just
Oh yeah,
obliterates you. So like one of the things I would also be aware of, especially when you're going through 8 and 9 and stuff, is just be pay attention to where the invalids kick in, because if you don't take the time to run like a single player race or something, just kind of assume that they're track cuts, because otherwise you won't know. Like sometimes on tracks that I don't know where the cuts are, I'll go do like a 10-minute race and run as badly as possible just to cut as many things as I can briefly, right? That's like 10 minutes and I'm just not on hot, but it's a quick 10 minutes that I can quickly figure out like, oh shit, that's a cut, that's a cut, that's a cut, that's a cut, that's a cut. So that I know where my jokers are, but I also know where just like desperately don't do it.
yeah. Turn 11.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
this
That's a cut,
that's
no
the
problem.
I think this is the only one that will give you problem for track cut here. The rest are
Mhm.
I don't think we'll get.
They're avoidable. They're hella avoidable.
Yeah, but this
Yeah.
one, since we are in throttle and you want to cut it as much as possible, is the easiest one to get a track cut if you pass that. And there's so much time to gain that it's really tempting to cut it a lot because if I cut even more, I'm gaining like still a bunch of time here. It's crazy. So just be careful on this one.
Yeah, it was helpful for me to see what the true track limit was there because I was driving on house practice on Friday and it was like, oh man, I'm so glad that wasn't a cut because I was thinking it was the line, not the
Mm,
curb. So now I
yeah,
know the curb is what I must worry about.
yeah. The end of the curve, yeah. With your left tire from turn 11, yeah.
Exactly.
Could you show number 8 again, please? And it's the marker,
Yeah.
please.
So marker, I'm using the 200.
It's the 200.
Yeah.
you said something that your car bounced, I think, and I was trying to figure out why.
At the end, see, I'm braking. Is it the right lap? No, this is not the right lap. See, I'm on the curb. My right tires are on the curb. And if you look down, oh, uh, the curb's stopping here, but I'm still on a brake here. And when I get to the end of the curb, it will hit the grass area like a
Oh, it's
dip.
because you hit the grass then. Is that it,
Yeah.
Miguel?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
See, I'm gonna look it from the top view of it. You'll see how it hit the grass just a bit. I was not much on the curb on this one. Sometime when I was starting to practice was more on the curb, and then you just get bumps a bit more. So you could see how much it still gave you a pretty big bump. You could hear the tire. They probably kicked the TC and screaming a bit more in there. But yeah, try to just stay close to the white line.
Okay, can you show the sequence of 8, 9, 10 then, please?
Yep.
Just like that.
Full speed or prefer?
Maybe 3/4 speed will be fine. Thank you.
Then cut on the curb. Again, cut the curb. Go on it.
As much.
Keep it tight and cut this one. In the exit, you need to be gentle on the throttle. Exit of 11 is still the rear still want to pass in front on this exit.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Anything else?
What time did you end up running? 34?
34.9, yeah.
Okay, not too far away. Not too bad.
A little bit slower right now in house of practice, probably because even though it's colder, it's night, there's probably
Right.
a little bit less grip, and this is hot lap, so I have like fresh tire every lap. Everything is like perfect, which do not happen on server, so that's why those time are a little bit faster, but it's just faster for me to jump there and do a quick lap, and trying to do a walkthrough in the night, it's probably not
Yeah,
the
Ben,
best
yeah.
either.
Yeah.
You just see a way better during the day.
Well, thank you, Michael. As always, appreciate you, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem.
Thank you, Miguel.
Thanks so much.